All right, let's now speak to our Police Minister, who of course has been present at the summit, a summit in which the President acknowledged that not enough has been done and says that government has to do better. Minister Cele, thank you so much for joining us. We know that you've spoken about the DNA backlog that's going to be cleared, you say, by January. I mean, that's really a crucial issue. If it's not, will you take accountability? Minister, I think you may have muted yourself. I'm so sorry. Please try again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you.
Yes, we have been taking responsibility, Sally. We believe, but that all our ducks are in the row now to be able to clear the backlog of the DNA in January. Remember, initially we have put October. October has come. We have further increased our capacity. We have discovered several things that have made us to lapse. One major one, Sally, was the supply chain management of the South African police to allow 16 contracts to lapse. All those contracts are active, are well monitored, that they don't lapse. We work to them 6 months before they lapse. But also, quite a number of people from the laboratory environment were taken out, especially in Cape Town. 24 of our people that were working in laboratories were taken out. We have brought back 20 of them. In Pretoria, we have brought back 8 of them. So we have added some money on the shifts so that there is money that is paid for making 2 shifts instead of 8 hours. We are making 16 hours. Machines are kept running, are sustained, are maintained. They are upgraded. There are new machines. All chemicals are there. We are really working. We have moved from 241,000 backlog to 71,000 as we speak.
Which is such. Sorry to jump in, Minister. I mean, it's great that this progress has been made. And what I'm hearing you saying is explaining why you were not able to meet your initial commitments, that you've really got to grips with what the problem is in the system. So am I correct then that you are comfortable to say to me tonight, I will resign if we don't clear that backlog by January?
Well, that is what you say. And I can say that I will stay when January comes, because that would have been definitely done, Sally, with all efforts and capacities that have been made there, including, by the way, the private capacity that Dr. Judy and Professor Shisane, they are leading. That
the reason I'm sticking on this one, Minister, is because the whole focus of the National Strategic Plan and what the President is talking about, your boss, is absolute accountability. You set yourself a deadline of January. Will you fall on your sword if for whatever reason you have not cleared that backlog by January? Yes or no?
Well, I can't ask yes or no.
Why not?
I can't answer. No, I can't.
Because it's an accountability issue. You see, this is the thing. South Africans want accountability. We're very good at diagnosing the problem.
The accountability issue is levels, Sally. There are many people that account below all of us going up. Those consequential management will have to go up to the chain. And if it is me that has caused that to happen and not the rest of the chain, yes, I will. But the
you're not operational, Minister. You're not operational, so it's never you.
Exactly.
Exactly, but that means you're immune to anything. I want to know what your accountability is, because there are still a lot of problems. Not all of them are of your making. Not all of them are the fault of the police force. And I'll give you one example. We have an endemic violence problem in this country. We are a traumatized nation. We have high levels of crime. We can't blame the police. for the fact that we're a violent society. But we can hold the police and you to account when we see there's not enough progress being made in doing the things that you've committed to. So, for example, in the National Strategic Plan, there was something like only 52% of police stations had a separate entrance so that people who've been sexually victimized can have privacy and security. Talk to me about progress that has been made in opening up a private room and a private entrance in every police station. What are the levels looking like now? How much progress have you made? Because this speaks to things you can control and things you can't. So things that are within your control are improving services at the police station. So have all our police stations got a private room for women and children who've been sexually abused, or not?
Well, let me bite on the accountability first. Sally, we have a new National Commission of the South African Police, but the real area where we fell short was the supply chain management. We have a new head on that. It is on a score that one is so confident that this thing is going to happen. So this accountability that you talk about has started to happen. It should not be as if there was no management consequence. That's why I'm saying that with all this done, with all this push and happen, and it still doesn't happen, consequential management will have to come to the minister. At what form, that will be seen. I agree with you on that. But this one we are talking about, we have trained 9,000, Sally, of the new officers that are in the system that will deal with gender-based violence and at the station level. The problem is that there are not dedicated officers to deal with that. So as the survivors come, they find whoever that has no time because it's doing everything and anything. So we have trained those that are dedicated. We have those desks now in all South African police except 138 stations out of 1,154 stations. And we will be fixing them come 2024. This one of the back doors, it's going to be difficult, Sally, because changing the structure of the police station is not the matter for the police. It's a matter for the sister department, Public Works. But what we have done is to create the privacy that has been missing and training those people that will be dealing with that privacy and putting the bacal samples that every station, every time must have that bacal sample. But also the top 30 stations of high sexual assault have been given the extra budget above the budget that they have, so that if it needs be, they use that money to cut off all the shenanigans of buying, of contracting, just go and buy those things. So we have really worked hard to say all things that should be there, including warm bodies to deal with those matters.
The problem is, and I mean, I'm really listening and absorbing what you're saying about people that you're training and the work that you're trying to do. The problem is the lived experience of women who go to a police station. Still, too much, we are hearing women being told, go sort out your problems with your husband who you say has abused you. You can't be raped, you're a prostitute. Those are still the realities. And I know that there are people who haven't been trained. But I'm wondering if you've got the right people in the job, in the front desk. And one of the criticisms is that you don't have the right people working in your police stations. You might have some good people coming down the pipe, but you don't always have the right people. Where's the consequence management for them? Why are we not rooting out the people who actually do a disservice to the police and to the people they're supposed to look after? Why are we not seeing that change more quickly?
You are correct that we are not always. That's why we have taken a big chunk of training for those people. As I'm saying, 2 Fridays ago, I was at Umtata. We created a special environment of training people that we train there, Sally, are social workers, are forensic specialists, all having degrees, are LLB people, are people that will understand better what does it mean to deal with those kind of people. We only train them on the policing matters, but they are graduates specializing on those. So we are improving on this. We agree that for us to do that is because of these complaints, but we could not just sit and cry to say police are doing that. We had to do something to improve.
The reality is, dealing with this sort of thing does take time. It's not a quick throw money at the problem. Is cadre deployment active in the police force? And is that part of the problem? Do you see it as a problem? Is it active in the police force?
What is a cadre deployment in the police?
Employing someone who's connected to the ANC, who's said that they're a member of the ANC.
Which means you have not read on this one. So there are
I'm checking. I'm not stating. I am asking.
There are criteria how a member of a South African police is employed. One, you must be South African. You must be 30 years and younger. You must be matriculant. Now we're mixing with the graduates because they are there. You must be healthy. You must be a person without the criminal record. We must put machines to check if we're a person that have integrity. You must be fit and healthy. We have never asked any political. We have never asked any political affiliation.
So let me ask you this. So let me ask you this for a very simple. Okay, I'm with you. Are you saying to me that you are committed to hiring highly skilled people, regardless of the colour of their skin, their political or religious affiliation, or even their tattoos? Tattoos don't matter?
That exists. That exists. Is not found by me. It's always there, son.
Okay. I want to address a criticism, and this is something that comes from the ground, and I know that you've encountered it when you go to the scene of crimes, that you are reactive, that you will arrive at the scene of a crime, make a statement, say that this is a big priority, express your shock, speak to the families. I'm asking you, though, what do you achieve by doing that?
To start with, maybe you follow half of it. Most of the time where I go on the crime scene, I go because you want to engage the communities, you want to have something to do together with the communities. But in most cases, communities, they make a shout. That includes the fine city where we were 2 days ago, where they say, even through these channels of TV, to say, Cele must come here, we want to ask this question, we want him to answer these questions. And indeed, and you get wiser, Sally, when you go to those communities, you listen to them, they tell what they think can help, and you implement those things. Time will never come. I want to emphasize that. Time will never come where we won't go to the communities, whether I call that reaction or reactive, but working with the communities is a part of the solution of the problem, that communities must be taken on board, but allow them to take you on board.
The reason I'm asking is because when the Krugersdorp rapes happened, and we remember this so well because it was during the policy conference, and I know that you rushed off from that conference to be present. It was a shocking, horrific crime. You promised it priority, which it received. You promised that DNA results would be processed, which they were. But what those DNA results showed is that the police had acted too quickly in thinking they had the men, and those men were released because the DNA didn't link them. So my concern is that you're going to these crime scenes first of all, I'm not even sure it's your mandate. Perhaps the police commissioner should be there, but it seems to create a flurry within the officers working the case, perhaps moving too quickly because you're breathing down their necks. And ultimately, it's not necessarily achieving anything. So you're saying there's lots of stuff, with communities, but in that particular case, what do you think your presence at that scene achieved, bearing in mind the suspects have been released because there's no evidence?
Well, it's a mandate of a public representative to meet the people. When the people call or when the people are stressed, is a mandate. So don't hesitate, don't doubt that mandate, Sally. It's a mandate of a public representative to be there. But what maybe is not noticed, including yourselves, is that at no stage the minister goes there without the operatives. Either is a national commissioner, which is most of the time, or is a provincial commissioner and the operatives that will deal with that matter. People there around that, the masses there, will ask from the minister to say, how does this happen? You will answer. But when it comes to investigations and things to be followed, it will be forever operatives. So don't doubt the mandate of it. It will be folly for any public representative not to go where things have happened. That's why we are called public representatives, so that we are always available to public service.
So answer the second part of my question, if you would. What did it achieve? Because those suspects were ultimately not linked to the case at all.
Well, as you have said, you go there, the operatives that were there, the issue of the people that were identified, 14 of them, initially were identified by the survivors. But that alone cannot take them in. You have to do an extra. The extra on the rape will be DNA test, of which was done. In the bigger part of the group, not once, second samples were taken. A special unit was created even in the laboratory to look at that. And more people that were arrested there, who are foreign nationals, arrested on the ticket, about 300 of them, tests were done. The crux of the matter is that they were not linked there. When the second time, the second identification, the survivors were hesitant to say they saw those people correct. That made the case weak, but I must assure you that those investigations are continuing, and those investigations will achieve what they're supposed to achieve. Some, they take long, some shorter, but we're not going to let go.
Thank you very much, Police Minister Bheki Cele, speaking to us about accountability, refusing to say that he will resign if he doesn't have that DNA backlog cleared by January next year, even while explaining to me he's absolutely confident they've ironed out all the problems in the system.